Stevie Nicks, a name that has defined rock and roll for decades, a voice that has touched millions, a spirit that has danced through the highs and lows of fame, with a magic that few can ever hope to understand. But today, at around 77, the world sees less of the glittering stage lights and more of the quiet reality behind the legend. And what she endures is as heartbreaking as it is inspiring. Think about it. She was the face of Fleetwood Mac, the woman whose mystical aura, flowing scarves, and haunting voice made her an icon. Songs that became the soundtrack of generations. Yet, behind the music, behind the fame, and behind the timeless beauty, life has taken its toll. The years of grueling tours, personal losses, betrayals, and battles with addiction have left scars that the cameras and fans rarely see. Imagine this: a quiet morning in her home, no applause, no roaring crowds, just silence. Stevie sits in her chair, fingers tracing memories of guitars, songs, and stages long past. Her mind drifts to the friends lost, the struggles endured, and the moments when the magic felt impossible to sustain. The world remembers the legend, but few see the solitude, the weariness, and the quiet sadness of a woman who gave everything to her art. Stevie Nicks is more than a rock star. She is a testament to the cost of chasing dreams in a world that demands perfection. Every song, every performance, every public appearance carries with it the weight of decades of life, loss, and sacrifice. And yet, even in sadness, there is strength. Even in solitude, there is resilience. Even in the quiet moments, she continues to inspire, reminding us that true artistry comes not without pain, but often because of it. If you want to truly understand Stevie Nicks, you must look beyond the hits, the legendary tours, and the iconic imagery. You must see the woman who has lived fully, loved deeply, and endured more than most could imagine, and whose story, though tinged with sadness, continues to captivate and teach us about perseverance, passion, and the bittersweet beauty of life. Welcome to the channel. If you want stories that reveal the real lives behind the legends, hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore the hidden, heartfelt journey of Stevie Nicks. Before she became the mystical icon we know today, Stevie Nicks was just a young woman chasing her dreams with a voice full of hope and a spirit full of fire. Growing up in Phoenix, Arizona, she faced the usual trials of youth, but carried a heart that was both sensitive and determined. Early relationships, family challenges, and the pressures of aspiring to a music career taught her that life rarely goes as planned, and that the cost of pursuing your passion can be high. When she burst onto the scene with Fleetwood Mac, the world saw the glamour, the power, the songs that would define generations. But behind the fame were long nights, relentless tours, and personal struggles that few could imagine. Addiction, heartbreak, and the toll of life on the road left their marks on her. And the weight of decades in the spotlight often pushed her into moments of solitude and reflection. The life of a legend isn't always glittering. It's also a life of sacrifice, of giving everything to your art and sometimes losing pieces of yourself along the way. Even as she created timeless music, Stevie faced personal loss that shaped her in profound ways. Friends, loved ones, and collaborators were gone before their time. Trust was tested repeatedly. The demands of fame clashed with her desire for peace and privacy. And often, the loneliness of the road became her closest companion. Yet, she endured. She continued to write, to sing, to create, because her music wasn't just a career, It was her lifeline, her way of transforming pain into beauty. Now, at 77, the world sees a woman whose sparkle may be dimmer than in her youth, but whose essence remains as magical and captivating as ever. She has lived a life full of triumphs and tragedies, a life that reminds us that even the brightest stars carry shadows. And in those shadows, Stevie Nicks teaches us the true power of resilience, the quiet courage of living fully, and the bittersweet reality of a life devoted to art and passion. Today, at around 77, Stevie Nicks's life is quieter, more reflective, and tinged with a kind of melancholy that few fans ever see. She no longer tours with the relentless pace of her youth. The bright lights of the stage have given way to stillness, and the roaring crowds are memories that echo softly in her mind. The magic is still there, but it comes with a weight. Decades of personal loss, physical exhaustion, and the heavy burden of a career that demanded everything she had. Imagine her mornings, the solitude of her home, surrounded by memories of decades past. Guitars that once created the soundtrack of generations now rest quietly, a reminder of a life lived fully, but not without cost. Friends and collaborators who once shared the stage are gone. The world applauds the legend, yet the woman behind the music carries a quiet sadness, the kind that comes from living a life so public that there is little room left for privacy, healing, or even simple peace. And yet, in that sadness, there is resilience. Stevie still writes, still creates, still pours her soul into music that inspires millions. Her pain is present, but it is also transformed into art, into empathy, into a legacy that continues to touch hearts worldwide. She has faced betrayal, the loss of loved ones, and the physical toll of decades in music. Yet she persists. That persistence is what makes her story both heartbreaking and inspiring. Stevie Nicks reminds us that even icons, even legends, are human. Even those who seem larger than life endure quiet suffering, moments of isolation, and the heavy cost of devotion to their craft. And in sharing her story, we see not just a rock star, but a woman of extraordinary strength, whose life is a testament to endurance, passion, and the bittersweet beauty of living fully, even when the world doesn't see the pain behind the sparkle. Today, at around 77, it becomes clear that her life has been a delicate balance of magic and melancholy. The world remembers the glittering stages, the iconic music, and the mystical presence. But behind that legend lies the reality of decades spent navigating loss, hardship, and the cost of fame. Every song she created, every performance she gave, carries the echoes of personal trials and sacrifices that few could endure. Yet, despite the sadness, Stevie Nicks remains a symbol of resilience and artistic dedication. She has endured heartbreak, loss, and the passage of time with dignity, continuing to inspire generations with her music, her story, and her unwavering passion. Her life teaches us that true greatness isn't without struggle, and that even in the quietest moments, when the applause has faded, the human spirit can shine with grace and courage. Her journey reminds us that sadness and triumph often walk hand in hand, and that the cost of brilliance is rarely visible to the world. Stevie Nicks's legacy is not just in her songs or her fame, but in her courage to live authentically, to keep creating, and to transform personal pain into art that touches hearts. So, if Stevie's story has moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of the humanity behind the legends, honor her journey by subscribing to the channel, sharing this story, and keeping her legacy alive. Because the world needs to remember that even the brightest stars endure quiet struggles, and in those struggles, they teach us the profound beauty of resilience, artistry, and the enduring power of the human spirit. And now, as we look at Stevie Nicks today, at around 77, we see a woman who has given the world decades of magic, music, and inspiration, yet lives with a quiet sadness that few truly understand. The stages may be less crowded, the bright lights less constant, but the essence of her artistry, the heart, the soul, and the passion, remains as powerful as ever. Her journey reminds us that even the greatest icons face struggles, heartbreak, and moments of solitude. Yet through it all, Stevie Nicks has persevered, transforming pain into art and sorrow into songs that continue to touch millions of lives. She teaches us that true strength is not the absence of sadness, but the ability to continue, to create, and to shine, even in the face of life's toughest challenges. Stevie's life is a testament to resilience, creativity, and authenticity. It reminds us that behind every legendary figure is a human being who has endured, survived, and persisted. Her story inspires us to embrace our own struggles, to find beauty in adversity, and to live with courage and heart, just as she has. If Stevie's story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of the reality behind the legends, honor her journey by hitting that subscribe button, sharing this story, and keeping her legacy alive. Because her life, filled with brilliance, heartbreak, and quiet strength, deserves to be celebrated, remembered, and shared with the world. As we close this story, it's clear that Stevie Nicks's life, at around 77, is a powerful reminder of the cost of greatness and the resilience of the human spirit. The world celebrates her as a rock legend, a mystical icon, and a voice of generations. But behind the fame lies decades of sacrifice, heartbreak, and quiet struggles that few ever witness. Every song, every performance, every choice she has made carries the weight of a life fully lived. Not always easy, not always glamorous, but always authentic. Stevie's journey teaches us that sadness and triumph often exist side by side, that even legends endure moments of isolation and pain, and that the most enduring beauty comes from the courage to persist despite hardship.